Good morning, it's Leanne Peters speaking. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for this week ahead. That's this week starting Monday the 28th of February through till Sunday the 6th of March. So welcome. I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, where it's raining outside. It is Monday the 28th of February here, and it's exactly, what time? It's 9:58 a.m. So welcome. Extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light family, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. And a big extra special thank you to those of you who have supported my work this month in February. We've had a sale going across Temple of Balance and my ceramics website, which is a very rare thing. So that ends today. That ends shortly, actually. So I want to thank you all for your support this month. It's helped us stay here for 17 years and keep going for at least a bit longer. I don't have, when Temple of Balance time is up, it's up. So that's based on support that I get or don't receive. So your support throughout this time period helps us stay here. If, we check on that each month. So we have a minimum each month if, just to help us stay here. So thank you for helping keep Temple of Balance here for a bit longer yet. It might be a lot longer, but I'm just taking 1 month or every couple of months at a time. So thank you for being here today. Let's see what the cards want to share with us this week. So if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'm going to be doing is using my Animal Kingdom Oracle cards with my Speed of Light. They've been combined to make a 110 card deck, which is lots of fun. So I'm going to be using this deck, and we're going to be looking for the best cards for this week ahead, starting Monday the 28th of February through till Sunday the 6th of March. I'm not pulling cards for individuals. I am doing a group reading, if you like, a collective, for those really who are drawn to be here. I'm thinking that's how I feel, what my connection is, if you like. So I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared will be helpful and supportive for you at this time. So as always, please take on board what feels right, what resonates, and what fits into your life easily, what makes sense to you. Take that, claim that, and let the rest go. So let's see what comes up for today. Think of this as a guide only, and let's allow ourselves to be surprised. So we got through last week. Last week's theme was the crocodile, which is interesting with the things that ended up happening, especially over in the Ukraine area, and sending love to everyone who's affected over there. Was very interesting with the crocodile as our theme. So the theme with the crocodile is to stand in our survival power. So very much getting into survival mode a bit last week. Very appropriate. So how did it go for you? Also, it was interesting to note, because last week I skipped over Wednesday, and Wednesday felt strange at the time, like it was a gap somehow. And it was a really weird day for me. Like within about 30 minutes of getting up, I actually had a healing event and a video chat with one of my patrons, and I just had to reschedule. I was preparing to go, and then 30 minutes before, it felt like I dropped into some big gap, and I just had to reschedule pretty much most of my day. And the interesting thing is that I managed to go in and visit my grandmother for the first time since our borders opened in the middle of December. I hadn't seen her in person. I have at her window, but not in the room with her for 2 months. Or actually it might be 3 months if I'm calculating correctly. Anyway, it was so nice. Even though I was gowns up, I was able to go and spend an hour with her, which was lovely. So we're now changing and diverting our attention to a brand new week, a fresh new start, a fresh new month. But we have February to tie up first. So I'm shuffling the cards and I'm asking the cards to show us what we need to know for our highest truth for this week ahead. That's starting Monday the 28th of February through till Sunday the 6th of March 2022. So I'm shuffling my cards and I trust in my cards. I trust that the best cards will find their way to the top of the deck based on the way I choose my cards. So let's go. Okay, let's lay these guys out face down and then I'll turn them over in a moment. So we've got 3 rows of 3, slightly off. So 3, 3, 3, just slightly on a diagonal. We've got mainly Speed of Light Oracle again. We've got 2, 4, 6, 7 Speed of Light and 2 Animal Kingdom. So let's turn them over. We've got a featured card already, but let's get these up. Oh, we've got 2 featured cards. So the first featured card is the Shaman, and it has further instructions here which say to fan out the deck and choose a card. So I'm going back to my deck, fanning out, closing my eyes and just going for the first card. I'm not overthinking it. And it's Gaia, so that will go with the Shaman. I'm going to talk about that first. We'll get to that in a second. And the very last card that's come up is a featured timing card, and it's Stellar Cycle. It talks about 1 year. And up here it has further instructions to say to take the 4th card from the top of the deck. So I'm going down to 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to a Speed of Light. And it's this, the Lotus Heart. Okay, great. We've got stacks of cards out here, so let's just get some order. Okay, I need to get myself into order with these cards. We're going to start with this. Starting the week, the 28th of February, we have these 2 cards that have come up together for a reason. So we're going to look at them separately, and then we'll look at their relationship together. So this is card 17, the Shaman. And it says solitude, grounding, mending, privacy, and reassess. So this suggests that probably at the beginning of the week, so at the start of Monday, I'm feeling like the first half of the day, probably up until around midday, some of us may feel a bit withdrawn, a bit like we need some private time, we need some quiet time, maybe just on our own or just with ourselves to mend, to heal, but especially to reassess our life. Where have we come from? Where are we now? And where do we feel that we're going? Are we on track when we do that assessment? So when I reassess, I'm looking at my journey to now, how I feel now, and where I feel I'm going. Am I aligned here? Am I on track? Have I gone off track a little bit? Am I losing focus on something that needs my attention? Well, if I can assess what's going on, past, present, future, for me now, then I can make some adjustments to then look at where I'm going ahead. So this is a quiet start to the week is the feeling. And we may want it, for some of us it may not be possible, but we might at least feel this energy. And it comes with card 33, Gaia. Gaia says spring, nature, message, listen, and life. Life is calling us. And we need to stop distracting ourselves or avoiding it, is the feeling here. Stop ourselves as best as we can by holding ourselves back in the past. So this reassessment actually of what's led us to here and now, and then where we're going, this will help free us up from the past ties or the past attachments that we have that we're struggling to look past or look beyond. So there is this feeling here of unlocking ourselves from the past so that we can get our both feet back into life again. So life is calling us early this week, and we may need to make quiet time or at least a little bit of time to reassess our journey right now, where we're at right now, so that we can hear what life is telling us, hear what it almost feels like this blossoming or this bursting that wants to come out of the heart. So if things have been a bit heavy or difficult in recent weeks and months, hopefully not years, but if that has been the case, then it might be quite important and maybe urgent in some ways for us to make some time to reassess things. So it could be while we're driving somewhere, it may be in our journal, it may be us slipping into the bath or slipping into a room where we can shut the doors, have some music on, and just think and reflect. So that's Monday, at least for the first half. For some of us it may extend longer, for others of us it may be shorter than that. But it feels like around the first half of Monday. And then we're looking at later into Monday. So this feels more like the second half of Monday, from about midday to midnight, roughly. We have the Owls, card 35, and they say the power of observation. So this is reminding us that right now, and in fact probably for the last couple of weeks, for the most part, we've been in observation mode. And it doesn't mean that we haven't been doing things, because a lot of us have been doing a lot. But there may be a situation that we're sort of waiting on. So we're a bit like these owls sitting in the tree, just waiting for the right moment to make our move, basically when the green light turns on. So some of us are still in observation mode, in waiting mode, in patient mode, which sometimes goes to impatient mode. But we're waiting, we're observing, we're waiting for the green light to turn on. And it's okay. The green light or the red light will turn on eventually. So we can just work with our powers of observation and do what we need to do while we're waiting. So they feel like very appropriate for Monday. So we're moving into Tuesday, and there's something to be grateful for on Tuesday. This is the 1st of March, and it's card 5, Sacred Haven. And it says gratitude, connect, reflect, and stand still. So on Tuesday, we've been encouraged to stop and enjoy our blessings, count our blessings, stop and smell the roses, and really notice what and who is around us to appreciate. So celebrate is great, celebrating what's working for us in our life and the great people in our life perhaps. But if celebration's a bit sort of out there for you, especially if you've been struggling, then maybe think about the people and the parts of your life that you can appreciate. So what are you grateful for? Who are you grateful for? And maybe even going on a bit of a rampage of gratitude or appreciation may be really helpful for us to sort of stop and see what is working for us in our life, or who are the people that are around us. Sometimes we spend too much time angry or frustrated about the people who aren't there, the people who haven't shown up. But meanwhile, we're missing or not noticing the ones that have. So let's notice the ones that have shown up, and let's really appreciate their care and attention for us, and try not to invest too much time and energy into the ones that didn't show up. So there are people there that we can appreciate. So counting our blessings, and we may want to stop, stand still, maybe quite literally, but maybe a pause moment where we can just stop and think about all the things, all the people who we really appreciate right now. And maybe tell them that would be a great thing to do, but at least stop and feel it. That helps ground us, helps give us perspective too. So that's feels like for Tuesday, the 1st of March. Then we move into Wednesday, the 2nd of March, and we have card 20, Rosemary. And Rosemary says beauty, self-love, kindness, and balance. She's very much about reconnecting with our heart and reconnecting to our inner place. This is a very self-love and inner sort of energy to this. We may feel, I don't know if withdrawn's quite the right word, but we may feel a bit introverted on Wednesday, or at least part thereof. So we're looking at reflecting or reconnecting with ourselves. How balanced are we? Might be part of our assessment. Are we in balance? Are we out of balance? Okay, if we're out of balance, what's out of balance? And how can we get back into balance again? So this type of assessment again may be required. So before we were talking about our life's path, past, present, future. And now on Wednesday especially, it feels very much like our inner connective place. How are we feeling in ourselves? How balanced are we? How are we going? Are we struggling? Are we under pressure? You know, what can we do to help calm things down a bit for us? So reconnecting with ourselves, reconnecting with our heart, spending some time nurturing ourselves may be important for Wednesday. And I still feel like I'm talking about Wednesday. It feels like there's a potential shift, like a shift through this energy. So we might feel a bit like, we might even feel slightly down or slightly in a down sort of space that prompts us to make some effort or take some time to reconnect. It may be just taking some nice big breaths, maybe doing something that we enjoy, or whatever it is that's right for us to reconnect with ourselves. And it's almost like going from the cocoon into freeing ourselves from the cocoon with this card, which has come up quite a bit lately. This is Butterfly, card 6. And it still feels appropriate for Wednesday. And in fact, it feels like a bit of a personal transformation or a personal shift that some of us may be experiencing. It says heart opening, freedom, passion and action. So this card came up, I'm pretty sure last week I talked about it. There's a dreamy element to this card. It's not very grounded in its energy, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. There is a dreamy state, oh, what if this, what if that, like dreaming, maybe big dreams, for example. But there is a very open heart here. So very open heart as we're being encouraged to really push forward from a heart place. So if we were moving forward in our life and our body was carrying us forward, if you like, sometimes we move forward very much with a heart predominance, where our heart feels like it's really leading the way. A lot of the time our head is leading the way, so we might feel very drawn headwise. Same as or opposite, I suppose, a bit. If we're hesitating or we're not very confident in ourselves, we might hold back and we might hesitate. So it's almost like we're holding back as we walk forward. So with this particular card, it feels very a heart projection forward. So we're being really encouraged, it might come naturally where we sit in our heart, especially come naturally after we've made time to reconnect with ourselves, our heart, and what is truly important to us, and connecting with our balance. And establishing that will bring us back into the heart so we can move forward again from a heart perspective. So this feels very important, heart-centered, around Wednesday the 2nd. So then we move to Thursday the 3rd of March, and we have the Wolf again, card 44. It talks about instincts, moon, cycles, flow, and trust. This is about the cycles and the phases that we're moving through in our life all the time. So think of the phases of the moon, the phases of the sun, or day and night. Think about the phases of the seasons too that are always shifting, but they always come back again. So yes, we might miss summer when it's winter, but we know that summer is going to be returning because it's moving in a cycle, it's moving in a phase. So there's something that's happening at the moment, especially that's going to be highlighted on Thursday, that is in a cyclic period, a phase, if you like. So it's moving in a cycle. So maybe take note of things that seem to be repeating themselves, repetitive patterns as well, things that seem to keep happening. Is this a negative pattern that needs to be broken? Do you keep attracting the same sort of person or same sort of situation that pulls you down? Why are you attracting such such a phase? So there might be an insecurity or something that's been highlighted. So notice the phases, perhaps on Thursday, and let's see where that takes us, but also trusting in our instincts. Okay, Friday the 4th of March, we have the Yogi, card 32. And the Yogi says, epiphany, learn, lead, and comprehend. I've just got my daughter's just turned up, so I'm going to have to speak to her, so she'll go around the back door in a minute. So learning and leading for Friday. This is a penny dropping. This is a situation becomes clear. This is reaching a deeper or new understanding, a wisdom about something that we were previously confused about. So it's like that penny drops and we, at a random moment, see why this has happened or why we had to go through this or whatever the situation involves. So there is potentially an epiphany of some type, but also a lot of learning energy and a lot of leading. So learning and leading. So for some it may be being a student and something involving that, or teaching and leading in that way. So let's talk about Saturday, the 5th of March, and we have risk-taking again, card 27, and it says journey, unknown, beginnings and confidence. This is about taking a risk on Saturday and following our heart. This risk is about stepping out of our comfort zone and into something brand new. It may work, it may not. We don't know. Hi, can you go around the back? Sorry, I'm just doing a video. Thank you. Yeah, it's about stepping into the unknown, stepping out of our comfort zone and finding the courage to try something new. And it may be a big deal for us. It may be a little thing, but it may be a big deal for us. It feels like a big deal for us. So something new is in the air, and we've been encouraged to really think about taking action and build our confidence in this new beginning that we've been almost pushed into. And some of us have felt this push for a while. You know what's really interesting in this spread, because I've got 9 cards out, 2 featured cards extra in the top and then the bottom corner, and right in the middle is this butterfly card. And this feels to be important. Even though I've already talked about this, I want to just come back to it, that right in the middle of this week ahead is a very strong focus, lots of arrows pointing to our heart. So maybe continue to ask ourselves, how does our heart feel about this? How do we feel in our body about this situation that might be coming up? And then Sunday, the 6th of March, we have these 2 guys, our last cards for the week. And we have the stellar cycle that's come up with the lotus heart opening. So let's look at these separately. Then we'll look at their relationship together. So card 55, stellar cycle, talks about 1 year. So it talks about the long term. It talks about, because this is around the 6th of March, it talks about early March 2022 to around early March 2023. So what are we thinking about, or what are we organising this week that has got to do with the long term? So in the next year, it could be 10 months, it could be 2 years, but this is the long term, and we're talking around a year's time. So what's in effect this week that you're looking at long term? It's connected here with the Lotus Heart, card 22. And the Lotus Heart says Om mantra, meditate, reconnect, and peace. We've had lots or a few cards here pointing to reconnection, and this is also pointing to the heart. So again, on Sunday, just the same as it came up for Wednesday, a reconnection with our heart, what is truly important to us. But what we can add with this card is a reconnection or an establishing of our heart's peace. Where are we feeling a bit agitated or unsettled in our heart? How can we calm that down? How can we find some peace in here? It might be connected with long-term plans. Long-term plans, we can think about relationships. We can think about our living situation. We can think about work, you know, and various other things too. But what are we thinking about in the long term this week? And how does it sit in our heart? And how can we reconnect with that space of our heart, but especially on Sunday with the peace, our peace of mind, peace of heart, a release of pressure, because having pressure on us takes away our peace, our inner place of peace. So maybe there are things that we're doing this week for the long term that can take the pressure off us, so that we can find peace in our heart and our body and our life. So very interesting cards, very balanced in the way they're laid out, and very heart-centered. as well. So that's that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to pull a theme card in just a moment, but before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this connection, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you would love to connect more privately, please send us a message through our website. If you'd love to learn more about me and the work I do at Temple of Balance, and if you'd love to learn more about these cards I've created, illustrated and created, then please visit templeofbalance.com.au. Thank you. Okay, let's grab the best card for the theme for this week. So the theme will help bring all of these days together and help us see the bigger picture for this week ahead as we move into March. Incredible. So our best card for the theme for the majority of us from the 28th of February through till the 6th of March 2022 is, drum roll, this card, another Speed of Light Oracle, and it's this. Speaking of pressure, it's card 28 called Delegate. And it says, ask, plan, organise and assistance. Ultimately, this card is about looking at the pressure that we're under or the pressure we're putting onto ourselves. Sometimes, and in fact, often we get pressure too from external sources, but a lot of the pressure we might feel is pressure that we put on ourselves. Do we have to be putting so much pressure on ourselves? Full stop. But especially this week. So think about the pressure that you feel that you're under. Are you feeling stressed and pressured and overwhelmed? If so, it's really important that you do something about it quickly before it just gets becomes more serious, we could say, gets worse. Because it's not going to get better if we don't do anything about it. So sometimes what we need to do about it is take a break. Other times, like I've talked about in this reading, we need to reassess things. So reassess our path that's led us to here, what's going on for us now, and where we're projecting, where we're going. If you're stressed today because you've got a stressful situation, that's an ongoing thing. Do you want to still be in this stressful place in another year's time? And the guess is probably not. So what can you do today to help minimise that stress and that pressure? If you're going through a one-off event that is very pressuring for you right now, then it might just be, how can I get through my days? How can I just do what I can, which is another thing about this card. It's organising, planning, but it's just doing what we can at the time. So what is the most important for you to get done today, if that's all you can do? Then do your best to do that and put the other things off that aren't that important. Especially if our body needs healing or rest, for example, if our body's going through something, sometimes we just can't physically do some things. So we have to put those aside and be at peace with that. Not feel pressured that we have all this stuff to do, but we can't physically do it right now. So we just do what we can. We get through our day and we ask for help. If we need it, if we can, delegate chores, ask for assistance. And most importantly, I feel, let's really consider and assess the pressure that we're under, the stress and the overwhelm that we might be feeling. And what can we do about those situations or that situation, especially if it's ongoing, to bring us back into a reconnection with our heart. And ultimately, like I said, for Sunday, reconnecting with our heart's peace. We don't have to be running in a stressful space all the time. So if it's ongoing, what can we do to reduce those stresses and that pressure that we're under? Can we be kinder to ourselves? Can we stop putting the pressure on ourselves and start becoming a good friend to ourselves instead of someone that just constantly criticises and puts that pressure on? We get enough pressure just from living and life things without adding to it personally. So let's be a bit kinder with ourselves this week. Let's count our blessings, definitely reconnect with our heart, and find the courage to start something new if that's something that you're drawn to do. So delegate, ask for help, take the pressure off yourself, get organised, prioritise, and it all will be smooth sailing, no doubt. So let's see how we go. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. Have a fantastic week ahead. Happy birthday, happy anniversary if you're celebrating. And I will do my best to pop in throughout the week. And I will definitely be in next Monday. So I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.